Okay, pre-calc, I'll go through some more examples using the reference angle with you. So first of all, our angle, we want to find the sine, cosine, and tangent of 11 pi over 4. So let's first draw that. Now 11 pi over 4, for some people that's a little easier to see as a mixed number. So that's 2 and 3/4. Right, because that would go 11 divided by 4, that would go in there twice, is 8 left over with 3/4. Okay, for some people it's just easier to see it that way. So I'm going to draw a picture that's 2 and 3/4. So 1 pi, 2 pi, 3/4 pi. Will put me here in quadrant 2. Okay, now if you're 3/4 the way, over back to here again, that means that your theta prime is going to end up being pi over 4. Because again, you're 2, which is 1 whole lap, and you've done another 3/4. So you're 1/4 short. So this is the part that I mentioned earlier where the formula doesn't really work. Okay? Because if I do pi minus this, I'm going to get a negative number, which is incorrect. It's going to be a positive acute angle. All right, so the magnitude from here to here is going to be pi over 4. Then the second part that you need is whether the trig function is positive or negative in quadrant 2. So in this quadrant, the sign is positive. That goes back to the all students take calculus, this stuff. All right, so in quadrant 2, the sine is positive, the cosine is negative, the tangent is negative. All right, so now I can use the sign change and the reference angle. So the sign change in combination with the reference angle will give me the right answer. I also have to set up my triangle. So if this is pi over 4, that means it's a 45, 45, 90. 45, 45, 90. And I asked you guys to memorize that. So that's your 1, 1 radical 2 triangle. All right, so now I'm going to finish and I'm going to evaluate this. Maybe I'll just do it in a different color since I'm overlapping a little bit here. All right, so the first one's going to be positive. The sign is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So you can write it as 1 over radical 2, or you can rationalize it to 2 radical 2. This one, cosine, it's 1 over radical 2, or again, you can rationalize it as radical 2 over 2. I don't care if you rationalize. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so it's negative 1 over 1, which is negative 1. The unrationalized versions are absolutely fine with me, okay? All right, let's try another one. Let me try not to squish it in so much this time. All right, 13 pi over 6. So that would be the same thing as saying 2 and 1/6 pi, okay? So 1 pi, 2 pi, a 6 pi. So that means that the reference angle is a 1/6 of pi, because it has to be the distance from here to here, which would be a 1/6 of pi, since that's how far over 2 pi you are. All right, now we're in quadrant 1, which means in quadrant 1, they're all going to be positive. So it's positive, and then the reference angle. And again, you have to memorize your triangles. If you're across from 30 degrees, it's 1. If you're across from 60 degrees, it's radical 3, and the other sides are 2. So now I'm going to evaluate this. Sine of 30 degrees is 1/2, positive in this case. Cosine of 1/6 is adjacent over hypotenuse, so positive radical 3 over 2. Tangent of pi over 6 is the opposite over the adjacent, so it's positive 1 over radical 3, or if you rationalize it, radical 3 over 3. Okay, gang, so that's those two examples. Let me stop this video here. I'll catch you in another video. Bye-bye.